Who's the first comedian you remember seeing perform live?
I mean, on TV, I want to say it was Sinbad. You know, I think maybe Seinfeld at the end of a Seinfeld episode when it was on. Uh, I think Sinbad even before then. That I remember Jim Brewer was the first live one. Did they say live?
Yeah.
Jim Brewer was the first live one. It was at Zany's in Nashville. I was in high school. I have on my what I was going to do in 10 years when you write like at your senior year, like where are you going to be in 10 years? And I said, I'm going to be playing in the NBA. I was like always saying I was going to still make the NBA. I loved basketball. And I technically did because I played for the Nashville Baptist Association, church ball. And then it was or to be performing at Zany's. I'll be at Zany's performing. And I kind of put that, I think, as a joke. Like I had no concept of really being like, I'm going to start doing comedy. But I remember I went and watched Jim Brewer and I just remember how good he did. I mean, he walked off stage. I gave him a high five. I mean, I was like, this guy's amazing, dude. I was like, it was unbelievable how hard we laughed. And I remember seeing the openers. I thought everybody was just probably rich on that show.
Yeah.
And then you start emceeing and you're like, oh, that guy was poor as poor. Like I was a senior in high school and I made more money than he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he was making nothing, like $10 maybe or something stupid. So yeah, Jim Brewer was the first one, and I got to work with him. I've been around him a few times, but we never talked a ton.
Uh-huh.
But I'm still a gigantic Jim Brewer fan, and Jim Brewer is very, very funny, very unbelievable comedian. A little underrated in the fact that he doesn't get the clout that I think he deserves. He's up there with all the tops, and he's an awesome, awesome comic.
I remember going to Zany's when I was in college, so this is early 90s, and I don't remember his name, but he's the guy from the movie Major League that's Bob Uecker's sidekick, the color commentator that never comments. Have you guys seen Major League?
Yeah, I can't put a face to that.
Yeah,
that's this chick. He never says anything hardly. And
Okay.
he's Bob Uecker. He's a stand-up comic. He was very funny, and we got to meet. He stood by the door after the show selling merch.
Yeah,
and I was blown away that I got to meet this guy.
Yeah,
I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, what was yours?
Saw Brian Regan.
Yeah,
in college. It's the first live show I ever saw.
Yeah.
At Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I saw Brian Regan open for Jerry Seinfeld once.
Really?
Here at TPAC?
TPAC, yeah.
Yeah, I was there. Was it 2003?
Yeah.
It's a decent
I was there.
show.
Yeah. I didn't know who Brian Regan was.
It was, I didn't know Brian Regan was either. And I flew back. That's when I started comedy. I moved to Chicago and then we came back. Was it September 11th or around 12th? Because I remember it was 2002.
It was early 2000s.
It was 2002 because I flew back on September 11th, 2002. So it was a year after. I remember flying back 1 year on the 1 year anniversary of 9/11.
Oh, wow.
And back to Nashville. And we moved to Chicago, me and Michael Clay, who I'm wearing his daughter's softball hat this week, Moxie. She's in a real legit travel it's like real deal.
Yeah.
They're good. All that travel kid stuff, I think it gets crazy, you know. It gets super serious anyway. So me and Michael moved in Chicago, and I came back to see Seinfeld, and it was Brian Regan open. I believe Brian Regan opened for him. It's funny, I remember the opener being super funny, but you have no concept of what's happening. Like now, since I'm in this world, I understand it so much. And like, you're like, how do these people not know?
Yeah.
Like, there's people that come to shows and they don't know that there's an opener.
Yeah, still.
But like, I think I could have been that person. I mean, if you're not going to a live show, I think stand-up comedy is a lot more mainstream now than it was then. I think stand-up comedy is becoming very mainstream.
Yeah.
And it's people are listening to it like a little more, consuming it like music. But then, I didn't think about it. And a lot of stuff I just never thought stuff through. I mean, that's why I can't.
I was the same way. I have friends now. I'll say, who are your favorite comics? And they'll name some people. And I think those comics are terrible. You don't know but I was the same way before.
Right.
Name the comics.
I got into stand-up.
Me.
Somewhere in the room.
Yeah.
But you mentioned you how cool it was that you got to meet that comic.
Yeah.
That was the thing that blew me away when I started doing stand up is how accessible
Mhm.
all of like the best comics in the world are.
Mm.
I was like 4 months into comedy and I met Ralphie May.
Yeah.
I was like, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
It's like picking up a guitar and then you meet, Eric Clapton in a
Mhm.
couple months. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
well,
always
comparing
been-
Ralphie May to Eric Clapton's a little.
Well, I'm just
Rest in peace, Ralphie. Ralphie was a wonderful guy.